Mary Anna Jones, or Anna as she would later be known, was born on March 11, 1958, in this quiet corner of the world. Lafayette was a town where time seemed to move slower, where families gathered for Sunday picnics and life felt unhurried. Anna's family home, a modest one-story house with peeling white paint, stood at the edge of a cornfield, its creaky porch steps telling the story of generations before her. But life inside the house was far from idyllic. Her parents, Mary and Henry, were already struggling by the time Anna was born. Mary, a fiercely determined woman with a passion for art, often found herself clashing with Henry, a factory worker weighed down by long hours and mounting stress. Despite the tension at home, Anna was a curious and imaginative child. She loved to dance barefoot in the living room, twirling to the tunes of her father's old record player. Her favorite song was Que Sera, Sera by Doris Day, a melody she would hum softly as she built castles out of her toys. In 1963, when Anna was just 5 years old, her family packed up their lives in Indiana and moved to California, chasing the promise of a brighter future. The move brought with it a mix of excitement and uncertainty. California, with its endless sunshine and buzzing opportunities, was a stark contrast to the sleepy Midwest town they had left behind. But the pressures of starting fresh in a new state only magnified the cracks in Mary and Henry's marriage. By the time Anna turned 6, her parents had separated, leaving her caught in the middle of a bitter custody battle. Amidst the chaos of divorce proceedings, Anna's mother, Mary, sought a way to channel her daughter's boundless energy. One day, while passing by a local dance studio, she saw a sign advertising beginner ballet classes. Something about the idea resonated with her. She enrolled Anna immediately, hoping it would provide structure and joy in an otherwise turbulent time. Anna fell in love with dance almost instantly. It wasn't just an activity, it became an escape. The structured movements, the rhythm of the music, and the applause of her teacher offered her a sense of control and validation that had been missing at home. Mary, watching from the corner of the room, couldn't help but smile. It didn't take long for Mary to realize that Anna's talents extended far beyond the dance floor. Encouraged by her friends, she began taking Anna to auditions for TV commercials. At first, it was a gamble, something to distract from the hardship of their personal lives. Anna's natural charisma shone through. By age 6, she landed her first commercial, a cereal ad that would air across the country. The production crew couldn't get enough of her bright smile and infectious energy. One director even commented, "She's got that spark we're always looking for." With each new role, Anna's star began to rise. Her face became familiar to millions, but it wasn't until 1966 that her life would change forever. At just 8 years old, Anna landed her defining role as Buffy Davis on the CBS sitcom Family Affair. The producers knew instantly they had found something special. Buffy wasn't just a character, she was the heart of the show, and Anna's performance brought her to life. The show was an instant success. Audiences fell in love with Anna's portrayal of Buffy, the sweet and spirited orphan who brought warmth and humor to every scene. Critics praised her as a natural talent, and soon, her face was everywhere from magazine covers to lunchboxes. But fame came at a cost. For a young girl still figuring out who she was, the pressures of stardom were overwhelming. Filming schedules were relentless, leaving little time for friends, school, or the carefree joys of childhood. Every smile, every line, every gesture was scrutinized. And while Anna's career was soaring, the cracks in her personal life were beginning to show. Little did she know, the glittering world of Hollywood would soon reveal its darker side. As Family Affair became a household favorite, Anna's days grew longer and her nights shorter. The production schedule was unrelenting, often requiring her to be on set for 10 to 12 hours a day. While other children her age were enjoying playdates or riding bikes after school, Anna was memorizing lines and perfecting her delivery. The long hours of work began to take their toll. On the surface, Anna was Hollywood's golden girl, a picture of innocence and charm. But behind the scenes, the pressures of stardom were mounting. Anna quickly became the face of American television. The show's success meant that her image was everywhere, on posters, lunchboxes, and even a best-selling doll. The Mrs. Beasley doll, modeled after her character's on-screen companion, became a must-have item for children across the nation. To the outside world, it looked like a dream. But for Anna, the constant attention and lack of privacy felt suffocating. She often joked with her co-stars about wanting to escape into the shadows, but beneath the humor was a growing frustration she didn't yet know how to articulate. For years, Anna was Buffy Davis, America's sweetheart. Her portrayal of the bright, lovable girl with the iconic pigtails had won the hearts of millions. But as Anna grew older, she began to feel trapped by the very role that had brought her so much fame. She struggled to reconcile her growing maturity with the childlike persona of Buffy. Her dissatisfaction with the role began to seep into her work. Directors and producers noticed a change. Lines were harder for her to memorize, scenes took longer to shoot, and her once bright smile became harder to coax out. The demands of fame weighed heavily on Anna, and the cracks began to show. Once a natural in front of the camera, she now found herself struggling to bring the same energy to her performances. Directors, eager to maintain the show's success, pushed her harder, but the pressure only deepened her discontent. Her co-stars, many of whom were adults, tried to offer support, but even they couldn't fully understand the unique burden of being a child star. Anna often confided in her on-screen uncle, played by Brian Keith, who became a father figure to her during those challenging years. As Anna's joy for acting diminished, so did the ratings for Family Affair. By 1971, the once beloved show had lost its magic, and CBS made the difficult decision to cancel it. For most cast members, it marked the end of a successful chapter. But for Anna, it felt like the world had come crashing down. At just 12 years old, Anna faced an uncertain future. The role that had defined her for so long was gone, and with it, the structure and purpose that had shaped her young life. After the cancellation of Family Affair, Anna struggled to find her footing. She was no longer the bright-eyed 8-year-old who had captured America's heart. Instead, she was a preteen grappling with the loss of her identity. Auditions for new roles were few and far between, and those she did attend often ended in rejection. Hollywood, it seemed, had moved on. Producers who once saw her as the epitome of innocence now struggled to imagine her in more mature roles. Despite her best efforts, Anna couldn't escape the shadow of her most famous character. After Family Affair ended, Anna was determined to prove herself as an actress. The industry had typecast her as the cheerful, pigtailed Buffy Davis, but Anna longed to break free from that mold. She auditioned for daring roles, ones that required depth and maturity. For The Exorcist, she poured her heart into the chilling lines of the possessed child. For Taxi Driver, she tried to channel the complexity and grit of a troubled teenager. But each audition ended the same way. Casting directors couldn't reconcile the sweet, innocent image of Buffy Davis with the dark, challenging characters Anna aspired to portray. Time and time again, she heard the same refrain, "You're too sweet. Too young. Too Buffy." For a girl who had spent her childhood in the spotlight, being cast aside felt like losing her identity. Each rejection was a fresh wound, deepening her frustration and self-doubt. As Hollywood's doors closed on her career, Anna found herself drawn to a different side of the industry, the nightlife. Friends from her days on set introduced her to the party scene, where she was welcomed as a familiar face in an ever-changing crowd. At first, the parties were an escape, a way to forget the pressures and disappointments of her career. Surrounded by music, laughter, and fleeting friendships, Anna felt a temporary sense of belonging. What began as innocent fun soon spiraled into dangerous habits. Anna, still searching for an outlet for her pain, turned to substances that promised relief but delivered only destruction. The tabloids were quick to take notice. The once polished child star became a favorite target of the press, her struggles splashed across headlines for all to see. Stories of erratic behavior and legal troubles overshadowed her previous image. To the public, she was no longer the sweet girl they had adored on screen, but a cautionary tale of what fame could do to a child. As her public image crumbled, Anna's private life fared no better. The pressures of fame had already strained her relationship with her mother, Mary, and the two found themselves at odds more often than not. Her once tight bond with her family unraveled further. The little girl who had once relied on her mother for strength now felt adrift, isolated from the people who had been her foundation. As the years passed, Anna's hopes of reviving her career dimmed. Hollywood had moved on, and the roles she once dreamed of were out of reach. Her story, once one of youthful triumph, now became a quiet tragedy unfolding behind closed doors. By August 1976, Anna's once promising life had spiraled far from the bright lights of Hollywood. That summer night, she joined a group of friends at a party in Oceanside, desperate to escape her troubles, if only for a few hours. The party was like many others she had attended, filled with music, laughter, and fleeting camaraderie. But for Anna, it was more than a social gathering. It was an escape from the weight of rejection, public scrutiny, and the fractured pieces of her life. Friends at the party later recalled that Anna seemed quieter than usual that night, as though lost in thought. She mingled briefly, but her presence felt distant, an observer rather than a participant. As the night wore on, the carefree atmosphere gave way to exhaustion. Many guests retreated to spare bedrooms or the sandy beach outside, leaving Anna alone in the living room. Amid the haze of alcohol and substances, Anna sought comfort in familiar escapes. It was unclear whether she fully understood the danger of what she was taking, or if, in her despair, it even mattered to her. Dr. Don Carlos Musos was no stranger to controversy. Known for his unethical practices, he had become infamous for prescribing potent substances to his high-profile clientele. Anna was one of many who had crossed his path, seeking relief but finding something far more destructive. When her friends woke up, they found Anna lying on the living room couch, unresponsive. At first, they thought she was asleep, but as the minutes ticked by, the truth became undeniable. Emergency responders arrived quickly, but it was too late. At just 18 years old, Anna Jones was gone. The coroner's report revealed the cause of death: a fatal overdose of multiple substances. Among the evidence collected at the scene was an envelope addressed to Dr. Don Carlos Musos. Dr. Musos had gained notoriety in Hollywood circles for his reckless behavior, prescribing dangerous substances with little regard for his patients' well-being. Following Anna's death, authorities launched an investigation into his practices. But justice would never be served. Just months after Anna's passing, Dr. Musos died of natural causes, leaving many questions unanswered and an already grieving family with no sense of closure. Anna's death was a devastating blow, not just to her family but to all who had watched her grow up on their television screens. The little girl with the bright smile and big dreams had been consumed by the darker side of fame. Her story became a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the pressures placed on child stars and the often overlooked dangers of fame. Anna's untimely death in 1976 was devastating for her family, but it was not the last chapter in their story of heartbreak. 8 years later, in 1984, tragedy struck again. Paul Jones, Anna's younger brother, had always looked up to her. They shared an unbreakable bond, one built on mutual understanding of their turbulent upbringing. But losing Anna left a void in Paul's life that he struggled to fill. Paul, like Anna, turned to substances as a way to cope with the loss and the unresolved trauma of their childhood. By 1984, his dependence had taken its toll. The family lost him to the same battle that had claimed Anna, leaving behind a devastating pattern of loss and grief. Anna's death was not the only tragedy tied to the cast of Family Affair. The series, which once symbolized family values and warmth, came to be remembered as a show overshadowed by sorrow. Sebastian Cabot, who portrayed the lovable butler Mr. French, passed away in 1977, just 1 year after Anna's death. Though his passing was due to natural causes, it added another layer of melancholy to the show's legacy. Brian Keith, who played the compassionate Uncle Bill, faced his own personal demons. A decorated actor, he battled depression later in life. In 1997, after a long struggle with health issues and grief over his daughter's death, Keith tragically took his own life. The connection between the cast's personal tragedies and their public personas created an eerie narrative that viewers and fans couldn't ignore. For the millions of fans who adored Family Affair, these tragedies were deeply felt. The show had become a part of their lives, and Anna, in particular, had been a symbol of innocence and joy. But the ripple effects extended far beyond her fans. The entertainment industry was forced to take a hard look at the way it treated its youngest stars. Though change came slowly, Anna's story became a cautionary tale for future generations. Anna Jones's life was filled with both extraordinary highs and devastating lows. While her time in the spotlight was brief, her impact endures. She remains a poignant reminder of the cost of fame and the vulnerabilities of those thrust into the limelight at such a young age. The legacy of Anna Jones and her family is one of love, loss, and the enduring hope that the world can learn from their story. While the Jones family endured unimaginable heartbreak, they also left behind a message, that behind every bright star lies a real person, deserving of care, understanding, and compassion. Anna's story is more than just a tragedy, it's a haunting reminder of the dangers faced by young stars thrust into the spotlight, a reminder of the high price fame can exact on those unprepared for its weight. Behind every shining star, there lies the potential for darkness, for a life that can quickly spiral out of control when the demands become too much to bear. The entertainment industry is one of the most powerful forces in the world, and it often prioritizes profits over the well-being of those who bring these stories to life. For children like Anna, the pressure is overwhelming. But as Anna's life shows us, the pressure doesn't just disappear when the cameras stop rolling. In fact, it can consume those who don't have the resources or support to navigate it. Today, there is a growing awareness of the mental health struggles faced by child actors. Mental health advocates, like those working with today's young stars, stress the importance of creating a safe and supportive environment for these young talents. They need guidance, stability, and the freedom to grow up without the weight of unrealistic expectations. Anna's legacy is not just one of tragedy, but of resilience. Her story speaks to the ongoing fight for change in the entertainment industry, a call for better protection, better guidance, and a focus on nurturing the well-being of young stars. The conversation surrounding the mental and emotional toll fame takes on individuals is more vital than ever. So as we remember Anna Jones, let her life remind us of the importance of protecting those who bring joy to our screens, and let us commit to changing the way we think about the pressures of fame. If you've been moved by Anna's story, don't forget to like this video and share it with your friends. Help us spread awareness about the hidden struggles faced by young stars in the entertainment world. Let's continue the conversation and fight for the change that's long overdue.